Help me to reach 2,000 subscribers. When my husband looked me in the eye that night and said, "You've become a burden, Clara," something inside me went quiet. Not broken, just still. Like the moment before an earthquake, when the air holds its breath. 15 years of marriage, of raising his children, of standing behind him as he built his empire from scratch, and now I was a burden. He said it so casually, sipping whiskey, his wedding ring gleaming under the kitchen light. His words didn't shout, they sliced. I stood there barefoot on the cold marble floor, the scent of bourbon thick in the air. A burden. I repeated, my voice trembling more from disbelief than pain. He didn't even look up. You don't understand the pressure I'm under. You don't work, Clara. You just spend. You used to be my partner. Now you're just here. He meant it. I could hear the truth humming beneath his irritation. That night, when he went upstairs, I sat at the dining table until dawn. My coffee went cold, untouched. The walls around me felt foreign, decorated with expensive art I'd chosen, in a house my loyalty had helped build. The betrayal wasn't just in his words. It was in what he'd already done long before speaking them. For weeks I pretended nothing had changed. But the silence between us grew teeth. He began working late more often. His phone was glued to his hand. His cologne changed, a scent I'd never bought him. One evening as he showered, his phone buzzed on the counter. A single message lit up the screen. "I miss you already." Counting the hours. The sender's name. Melissa. Office. My hands went cold. I opened the message thread. Dozens of texts. Photos. Laughing faces from business trips. Hotel rooms. In one image, his face was pressed against her neck. His wedding ring was off. I wanted to scream, but something colder took over instead. I felt the anger sink deep, coiling tight. Not fire, ice. Melissa was 28. His assistant. She joined his company a year ago. I'd met her once at a corporate dinner. Bright smile, polished voice, too eager to please. She'd called me Mrs. Daniels as if I were a stranger. I didn't confront him. Not yet. Instead, I studied him. Every movement, every lie he thought I didn't catch. He was unraveling himself and I was there quiet watching him do it. The man I'd built a life with had turned me into background noise in his own success story. But he'd forgotten something crucial. Everything he had, every house, every account, every partnership was built on my name. The company was legally under both of us. I had been his co-founder before he rebranded, before he started introducing himself as CEO and sole owner. I'd stepped aside for our family. I had trusted him completely. Now trust was a weapon. I waited for the perfect moment. On the morning of his 15th business anniversary, he left early for a conference in Chicago. I kissed his cheek before he walked out the door. He didn't even notice the faint smile on my lips. That same morning, I visited our lawyer, one he'd long forgotten I'd kept on retainer. I transferred company control documents, shares, and accounts that were legally half mine. I knew every password, every offshore detail, every shadow account he thought I'd never find. By noon, the bank froze his assets. By 2, the company servers were locked. By sunset, I had complete control of everything he owned. His empire, 15 years of work, was under my signature. When he called, his voice shook. "Clara, what the hell is happening? I can't access anything." I listened quietly. The panic in his tone was something new. Something delicious. "Clara? Are you there?" "I'm here," I said calmly. "You called me a burden, remember? I thought I'd lighten your load. You can't just, this is insane. You'll ruin us." "No, Daniel," I whispered. "You ruined us when you decided your assistant was worth more than your wife." He fell silent. I could hear the hum of hotel air conditioning behind him, then a woman's voice faintly asking, "What's wrong, babe?" I ended the call. The next morning, headlines spread across business news. Daniels and Company faces sudden financial collapse. The board was furious. Investors pulled out. His name became poison overnight. He came home 3 days later looking 10 years older. His eyes searched mine for mercy. "You destroyed me," he said, voice hollow. "No," I replied softly, pouring myself tea. "I reminded you who helped build you." His jaw tightened. "You think this makes you strong? You've just burned everything we had." I looked around, the empty living room, the fading sunlight through the curtains. You burned it the moment you called me a burden. He stared at me like a stranger, and for the first time I felt nothing. No pity. No love. Just release. That night I sat on the balcony, the city lights flickering below. The cool wind brushed against my face as I replayed our entire marriage in fragments. His laughter, our first apartment, the night we promised we'd never lie to each other. 15 years of love, erased with one careless word. I didn't ruin him for revenge. I did it for the woman he had forgotten I was. The one who helped him rise, who sacrificed her dreams so his could breathe. Maybe he'd rebuild. Maybe he wouldn't. But he would never again forget what it felt like to underestimate me. Weeks later he sent one final message. I lost everything, Clara. But the worst part is losing you. I didn't reply. Instead, I walked into my lawyer's office, handed over the final documents, and signed his bankruptcy into permanence. The ink dried. My hands didn't shake. Outside, the afternoon sun broke through the clouds. For the first time in years I felt light. Not because he'd fallen, but because I finally stood. And somewhere deep inside, beneath all the pain and betrayal, I realized the truth. Sometimes the most powerful revenge isn't destruction. It's remembering your own worth after someone else forgets it. As I left the office, I caught my reflection in the glass doors. My eyes were no longer tired. My posture no longer hesitant. I had walked into this story as the wife of a powerful man. I walked out as the woman who took her power back. And I smiled. Not for victory, but for survival.